Welcome to Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Your host, V&M General Manager Kevin Jean and Iowa Ranger Pro Staffer Steve Graff will keep you up to date on what's happening on the best lakes in the Arklatex region, with a primary focus on Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend, two guys who have fished at a high level with Pro-Am experience with ABA, BFLs, Toyota Series, and BASS Opens. Anglers with a wealth of knowledge and willing to share. So pull up a chair, kick back, and see why so many anglers watch Tackle Talk Live. Here are your hosts, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tackle Talk Live. That's right, the show dedicated to making you a better angler, especially on Toledo Bend, Sam Rayburn, and all lakes in that East Texas area. Fork, Lake of the Pines, Caddo, whatever, you name it, we're going to try to help you out. But I'm Ranger Iowa Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with V&M General Manager Kevin Jean, running the board, pushing the buttons, making everything happen on this show. The one and only NSU graduate, Mr. James Stanfield. We appreciate James. All he does keeps us up to date, keeps us alive on social media. And today's show, we're going to wrap. We got a lot to cover, and we got a short time to get there. Bass Champs. Got to wrap it up on Toledo Bend. We're going to wrap up the ABA Ray Scott National Championship. That'll be real short and quick. The BFL Cowboy Division on Sam Rayburn. We'll wrap it up. And then we got a really good special guest today, Hayden Heck. Kevin just weighed 32 pounds of fish on Rayburn.
32, 93 in a little team tournament on Rayburn Saturday. I mean, Steve, 33 pounds, was going to round it up to 33. Yeah. 33 pounds this time of year, that's pretty tough. And I'm interested to dive into this with him to see if it was spawners, if it was post-spawn, maybe pre-spawn. Steve, if those were post-spawn fish, and everybody can see the picture we posted this morning, if those are post-spawn fish, those suckers are already healthy.
Oh, yeah.
So no. I'm really anxious to jump into this with Hayden and kind of see, don't really have to know how they were caught or where, but just what stage of the spawn was these fish in?
Well, and it'll tell you, too, those post-spawn fish, they're already that healthy. That means they've been feeding up after the spawn
that's what
for
I'm
a while.
saying.
Maybe we had a spawn earlier and we just missed it. I don't know.
On Rayburn, not on Toledo. Toledo this past weekend didn't show out as much, but, the wind this past weekend was just brutal.
From Alabama all the way to Texas.
Brutal.
It was brutal.
So Toledo, I think Toledo didn't show out, but it couldn't. I don't see how anybody even fished. They had they had two good sized tournaments on Toledo this weekend. Benji Gillette, Dustin Rivers won both tournaments with a little over 21 pounds. But weekend before last, they had two 29-pound stringers and a 26-pound stringer weighed in at Toledo Bend.
Wow!
So a good buddy of mine, Dean Lewis, won that one.
That's sacking them right there.
That's catching them. That's catching them.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're gonna jump in the boat with Hayden today and kind of hear how kind of get the story of how it went down again. I'm anxious to kind of hear on what phase those fish were caught.
Well, and I'm anxious this weekend. I'm actually headed for Sam Rayburn. I'm sorry about that. I thought I had him silenced, but evidently I didn't. At Sam Rayburn, I'm anxious. The full moon is, I think, this Friday through Monday night. So, Kevin, 3 days before, 3 days after, is this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday going to really be strong? I
think so. If the wind lays off. Yeah. Well, and I say that won't affect the fish, but it'll affect the fishermen, of course. But I think this weekend, Easter weekend, was going to be a really strong weekend for the fish, Toledo and Sam Rayburn. And there's a bunch of tournaments. I know their ABA Open Series, Outlaw Outdoor Team Series is going on.
Now,
a lot of tournaments.
Is that a Sunday event, or do they move it to Saturday for Easter?
Saturday. They're both on Saturday.
So we're going to be a little crowded Saturday.
Yeah.
And ABA is going out of Castle Boykin. I assume Outlaw will go out of
Humphrey.
So y'all stay on your end of the lake. We'll stay on ours. Okay, let's work that out. But anyway, and real quick, congratulations to East Texas Baptist University for winning the Abu Garcia College National Championship with a winning weight of 43.03. Kevin, they were 3.05 pounds ahead of second place King University. And and by the way, just so you know, I'm interviewing one of those guys tomorrow morning at 11:30 on Hooking Up and Tracking Down show, 11:30 a.m. 11:30 The Tiger, and KWKH. So if you want to hear that interview, we'd love to have you tune in. But I'll try to have them give you a little better report next week as to exactly what they did and how they caught them. But great exposure for college bass in our region right there.
Oh, absolutely.
And
they had another team in the top 10.
Yeah, finished 7th, I believe. I have that down right. Matter of fact, I got it right here. And Stephen F. Austin finished 4th. Another team, and the winning team was Caden Profit and Kaysen Ragsdale. They were the winning team from East Texas Baptist. And then 7th place was Cannon Bird and Jacob Keith. So they had 32.02. Great contingency from our neck of the woods. Schools from all over the country, Kentucky, Illinois, were all there. So it's just a national event. Great championship win for East Texas Baptist University. Great exposure for the school.
Really
And let's see here. And again, Kevin, with the spawn coming up this weekend, another wave, I guess, so to speak, is going to move up. Does this wrap it up for you? Do you think this is the end of it for what we call the spawn?
It's still going to linger a little bit. I think it's going to linger all the way to May. We got a late start this year, and there's every year, the first weekend of May there's still a few there, very, very few. But I think it's going to start falling off. Shad spawn should be starting up. I know I've heard rumors of it on Rayburn.
Had a little bit of that at Eufaula, Alabama.
Yeah, shad spawn should be starting up. So it's been very, very warm. It was 70 last night.
Yeah. And real quick, on heavy hitters, Major League Fishing is on Lake Palestine as we speak. Stephen Browning's leading Group B today in the qualifying. I think the top 5 move on, top 6 move on. But the shad spawn is going on that body of water. I heard him talking about it a little while ago that the shad spawn in certain pockets,
it's just starting.
It's not everywhere, but it's on different pockets of and that's the way it was at Eufaula, Alabama as well last week. So, what I found odd was where you found the shad spawn going on, there was no fish. The bass were not there to gorge themselves on the shad spawn, and there was a lot of guys asking that, wow, where are they? Is there just the lake just doesn't have enough fish in it anymore? I mean, it was really strange.
Right.
And but anyway, we'll talk about that some later on. But before we get to all that, we're going to take a real quick break. You're watching Tackle Talk Live. Thank you for all of our fine sponsors that have jumped on board with us from day one. We appreciate each and every one of you. We'll be right back in just a second.
Toledo Health is a full-service primary and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's needed and convenient to the area. Whether it's a stomach virus or a hook in your hand, Toledo Healthcare will try and meet all your health care needs. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. So the next time you're feeling down at Toledo Bend, stop by Toledo Healthcare, located on Highway 6, just south of Toledo Town, or you can call 318-508-5323. For all your boating needs, check out Shreveport's newest marine dealer, The Boat Shop. Raymond Kidd and his great staff will take care of all your engine repair needs or anything else that needs fixing. A certified Yamaha Mercury dealer, they carry 2 of the best fishing boats on the market from Sea Arc and Camus. The Boat Shop is never short on trade-ins as they're always willing and able to make you the best deal possible. Looking for great boat accessories? They're a full support Garmin and Minn Kota dealer. So the next time you're in the market for a new or used boat, or maybe you just need to service the boat you have, let the Boat Shop fix you up. To learn more, call 318-402-0399 or go to ShreveportBoatShop.com. The next time you're on I-49 just south of Natchitoches, Louisiana, stop by Cypress Knee Outdoors. A store within a store, Cypress Knee is located inside 3J's four-way. Whether you need gas, food, or drinks, they have it. While you're there, check out Cypress Knee Outdoors and pick up whatever hunting or fishing tackle you need. Top name brands like Strike King, Santone, Spro, or the #1 soft plastics made, V&M. On the hunting side, they carry guns from Mossberg, Winchester, and Remington. Plus, they've got a great supply of ammunition. Let John Abram and his staff show you everything Cypress Knee has to offer. Located just 1 mile east of 127 on I-49 or call 318-238-HUNT. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Welcome back to Tackle Talk Live. Once again, we appreciate all of our sponsors, including these: Toledo Health, The Boat Shop out of Shreveport, Shreveport's newest marine dealer, and 3J's 408 home of Cypress in the outdoors. Stop by, see John Abraham. If you're on your way to Cane River, on your way to Toledo, whatever. If you're coming down I-49, stop in Cypress in the outdoors. It's right there in 3J's 408. It's a quick stop place right there. Got a great deli, great selection of bait and tackle, hunting, whatever you need, all you outdoorsmen. It's a great place to stop and shop. So anyway, we thank John Abraham and his guys for all they do for us and our program. On the Tackle Talk hotline, we've got a guy that knows how to catch them. Caught 32.93 pounds last weekend on Sam Rayburn. Hayden Heck. Hayden, how you doing, bud?
Pretty good.
Hayden, thanks for coming on the show, man. This is the second time I have Hayden on the show.
Yeah,
we had him on last year.
I remember the name.
We had him on last year. So, Hayden, man, 32.93 in April. I mean, that's impressive, especially this time of year. Impressive to find those kind of healthy fish. My biggest question is catching that size and those healthy fish. Are you catching pre-spawn, spawn, or post-spawn?
I believe they're kind of in between on spawn and post-spawn.
Okay.
I've just been fishing up shallow in about 5 or 6 feet of water, and honestly, a big part of it has been the live scope, which is new to me. I've had it for a few months here, but kind of just looking around and tossing out bigger fish for the most part.
Oh, okay. All right. Now that so scoping in 5 to 8 foot of water.
Yeah, pretty much. Some of them have been a little bit shallower, but for the most part, yeah, that 5 to 8 really seems to be where they kind of been hanging.
And hey, this time of year, it's you've got, like you said, spawners and post spawners. Fish coming back out from the spawn, fish trying to pull up, and this is that unique time of year. You get a mixture of both on a good drop. But it sounds like to me, and what Kevin was saying, that some of the post spawn fish are just healthy and fed up already, like they've already been feeding for a while.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been figuring. I mean, most of those fish were pretty healthy. They seemed a little bit skinnier than, like a month ago, obviously, but they're still pretty dang healthy fish.
And I know you have to be kind of in the way the wind blew Saturday was just crazy. So I know you have to kind of be, in one kind of area of the lake, Hayden, but or this weight, these 5 you caught here. First of all, what was your big fish?
I didn't even weigh it, but she was probably 8 or 9, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. So was these fish, you're catching them on the scope, 5 to 8 foot of water, kind of one pocket, one general small area, or are you just covering a ton of water?
I'm just covering a lot of water. That's something that's been, like I said, it's kind of new to me, but using that live scope just really, it helps you eliminate where they're not at. So, but for the most part, covering a lot of water. I haven't been able to find anything on a one spot kind of deal. Last weekend it was actually really weird. A lot of times, you pull up, it goes down on 1 or 2 baits, whatever, but every single fish came off of something different. And so I was just really cycling through different things, trying to just get bit.
Really? So out of them 5, the 30, we're going to call it 33 pounds, every single one of them come off a different bait?
Yep.
Wow.
Really?
Which is really weird for me because that's usually not the case.
Right.
Yeah, usually we're about a month away from what we call trash fishing, where they're in between stages and you catch a lot of fish in different techniques because the bass are just in another.
So see that, yeah, because that I'm surprised to hear that, because when you told me you caught them all scoping, when you catch fish that size, and my mind immediately went to he's got a bait figured out.
Either a deep crankbait,
some kind of swim bait or something figured out that them big ones won't. So that's different to me to hear you say they're all. I mean that puzzles me to hear you say that they're all in different bait. Now, was there did you see a lot of boats in your area? I mean, I know the wind was.
I mean, there was boats everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean,
where you could fish anyway.
Yep. I think there was a high school derby going on or something. It was busy.
But Hayden, what this confirms with me, when you look at the results, especially with the Bassmasters or MLF, and they show the top 10 guys and all the baits they used, it's amazing how hardly any of the top 10 use the same baits. They're all doing something different. So I guess it's a matter of getting a bait in front of fish that are wanting to feed. I mean, not necessarily, it may not, I've heard Tommy Martin and other pros say it's not always about the bait, it's just finding the fish.
Yeah. And that's kind of, I mean, now I say that, but at the same time, I'd see a fish and I would try one thing, didn't work. Try another thing, didn't work. And so I had like 10 rods up on my deck and I was just fishing a bunch of different stuff. But
throughout the day, did you have a lot of followers, a lot of fish that just would not bite?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I'd say 90% of the time when I'm using this thing, you get a lot more interest than you'd ever think.
Correct, and you're right about that. But also on them windy days, that seems to really help. Of course, just like a regular spinnerbait bite or anything else, wind helps that bite. But with that scope bite, man, that really helps those windy days.
Yeah, and honestly, the wind didn't really get too bad until it seemed like 10 or 11 is when it really kind of started picking up. And so, I mean, I was able to get bit pretty early the first 2 or 3 hours of the morning, just kind of running around trying different things. But
all five fish,
just fishing spawning areas. So
did you have your weight by 11 o'clock? Did you have it before 11?
Yes, I believe so. We came in. I brought in 4 fish early just because they were kind of big, and I wanted to get them back in the lake, get them out of my live well.
Right.
Huh. Interesting.
Never had that problem, Kevin.
Not 30 pounds. Not 30
Never
pounds.
had that problem.
Oh, well. Hayden, have you seen any of shad spawn going on around the lake?
I'm not really too sure. I feel like this year we're kind of behind.
We're
the last
behind.
couple of years I've been out here.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like everything. It just, to me at least, it seemed like stuff was spawning a little bit, starting a little bit later. Yeah. And I don't know. It just seemed like the winter kind of hung on a little bit longer. And but no, I have not been seeing them blowing up like crazy in the hay grass. I mean, there's fish doing it, and there's definitely some bait up there. But I don't think it's, in my opinion, I don't think it's really full swing yet.
Right. Yeah. So Hayden, that's what me and Kevin were talking about before you came on. The full moon starts this Friday and runs through Monday night. So 3 days before, 3 days after. Is this the big push you think this weekend?
I would kind of, it's just hard to say, honestly, because, I mean, there's been fish, it's Rayburn, and there's always big fish up shallow, and so I've been seeing them for a while, but, you would think so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would think.
So, and I know it's hard to tell, especially those post spawners already fed up, but in your opinion, out of the 5 that you weighed in, how many do you think might have been pre-spawn?
It's
hard to say.
It's hard to say.
It's hard because
really
they fed up, but I mean, you had to have caught some more pre-spawners. I mean, you had 5 with an 8 is your biggest and had 33 pounds.
Yeah, no, they were all solid fish, but to me, they kind of seem like they kind of just seem like they're more. They're probably post-spawn, but they kind of just seem like they're in that spawning time. They just didn't seem like they were all skinnied out yet, or they weren't super, super fat either. So it's kind of hard to say.
Gotcha.
Hayden, also this coming week, starting, I guess, to this evening and tomorrow, and I think possibly Thursday, storms coming through. Sam Rayburn is in 1.6 feet low is what I saw the day when I looked at it yesterday. The lake could jump up a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. And that could definitely, if we get some rain and it starts filling up, I would expect them to really start spreading out.
Yeah.
Getting up in the bushes.
Right.
Good deal.
Well, Hayden, man, congratulations. Great bag, man. I mean, that's trip of a lifetime right there.
What are you fishing this weekend, Hayden?
We're going to hop in that Outlaw Outdoors this weekend and see how it goes.
Good deal.
But never know.
Good deal.
Just got to hope for the best.
Well, man, good luck this weekend, and we appreciate you coming back on with us.
Yep.
Yeah, no problem, and I appreciate it.
All right. Hayden Heck.
All right.
He did give us some inside information on his 33, like Kevin said, 33-pound bag of fish he caught. And, it's just interesting, Kevin. It sounds like we're just really in the middle of in-between stages right now.
It's interesting to hear. So I guarantee you he caught fish doing all 3 phases. Doing what he's doing, going down the bank, 5 to 8 foot. I'm assuming his stumps or, whatever is out. It's just everything that's off the bank. Right. He's scoping, and whether it be a grass line or stumps or whatever, it's according to what part of the lake he's in. But he's catching spawn, pre-spawn, post-spawn. Yeah. He's catching them all. So it's kind of hard to say. That's shallow, Steve. Scoping in 5 foot of water.
Yeah, that's it. And he said 5 to 8, but you're on the edge there, that 5 foot of really seeing what you need to see. But good job. I mean, all you say is good job. All right, real quick, Bass Champs. Toledo Bend had 148 teams.
Bass Champs wasn't on Toledo.
4-9. They was on Toledo last weekend. 148 teams. $46,000 was given away.
Bass Champs on Toledo.
Let's see here. Rex Wheeler and Will Davenport won it with 20.35 pounds. And this was was that Saturday, the 9th?
They got a misprint, Steve. It wasn't on Toledo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't on Toledo.
Well, wherever they were at, they had 20.35 pounds, because that's what I was looking at. I was noticing that the weights, there was a lot of 14, 13.
No, that's not Toledo. They got a misprint out. Belton. That's Lake Belton. Will Davenport, and I was like, it wasn't on Toledo Bend. I knew it wasn't on Toledo. So Lake Belton this past weekend. Davenport and Wheeler with 20.35.
That makes more sense as far as the
You
weight.
don't see any Toledo Bend hammers on there, do you?
That's what first got my attention. I'm like, I look at where these guys were from, and none of these names rung a bell with me, and I'm like, this must be.
Did you see Cole Moore in the top 5? That's not Toledo Bend.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. All right, well, we'll skip over that. Let's see here. What else we got?
I do. BFL. There was 2 Toledo Bend tournaments this past weekend. The Midget Powell Memorial and a new Game Changer. I think they guarantee first place of $10,000. Called Game Changer Tournament or Game Changer Tournament Trail. They're on Facebook. And Benji Gillette, Dustin Rivers fished both. They entered both. They allowed them to fish both. They won both with 21.53. Kind of a little off weekend for Toledo. It's been kicking out some monster bags. Like I said, weekend before last, they had 2 29-pound bags in the same in the same tournament. So a little off weekend, but I would imagine that with the wind and everything else we had. But Benji Gillette, Dustin Rivers, congratulations to both those guys for winning that on Toledo Bend.
Yeah, good job. BFL results from Sam Rayburn last weekend. Blake Schroeder took first place for $5,475, 23.04. Second place was Tater Reynolds, who we've had on the show. Mm-hmm. Tater was 22.09. Chris Diberdino, 21.08. Cameron Madison, a V&M guy, was fourth at 20.08. Shane Campbell was also tied for fourth at 20.08. That's rare when you have 2 guys that tie, especially at the top of the leaderboard. Wyatt Frankins was 6th with 19.06. Dickie Newberry, Rayburn Toledo Bend Stick, was 7th with 18.06. Logan Shearer, I know Logan, he finished 8th with 18.05. Jason Bonds from Lufkin at 18.01 for 9th. Dylan Harrell was 10th at 17.11, and 11th was Chris Lewis at 17.05. The last place check was 34th, Jimmy Hickman, 13.10. So took 13.10 to get a check. And so a lot of good anglers in this event, of course. The BFL Dakota Ebear, he finished 12th in this event. I'm just looking down the list here to see if anybody we know locally besides Dakota. But anyway, congratulations to all those guys. Evidently, there was a bunch of bags between 10 and 14. Yeah. Easton Dowden, I see Easton had over 12 pounds, almost 13. So, again, BFL continues to, continues to pull numbers in, Kevin. I mean, they're still running 174 boats in this event. Yeah. So, all right, we're going to take another quick break. When we return, we're going to talk about the Race Scott National Championship and Toyota Series, which turned into a one-day event on Texoma. When we return with more Tackle Talk Live.
Are you looking for the finest custom-built rods ever made? Then look no further than Pride Rods. Fishing rods built to last and made in Montgomery, Texas. Constructed by Mr. Billy Kistler with the finest Gary Loomis North Fork composite blanks available. They offer a complete line of both spinning and casting rods for both fresh and salt water. Pride Rods do more than pass the eye test. They excel in performance as well. Ask your local tackle dealer if they carry Pride Rods and pick one up and try it for yourself. You'll see why so many anglers are using Pride Rods. To learn more, go to priderods.com or call 832-418-6040. The next time you're headed for Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, stop by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. They have an awesome supply of everything you'll need to catch the big ones. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing, white perch tackle, catfish bait, or the ultimate fighting shiners, Keith's Tackle has you covered. Keith and former Elite Series pro Ben Matsubu also have the latest information on what, how, and where you need to be fishing on Sam Rayburn or the Bend. So for all your tackle needs, check out Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, located just off Highway 21 on the Texas side of Toledo Bend, or call 409-625-0181. The Lakes Insurance Agency is an independent insurance agency that has been taking care of Texans' insurance needs for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, RV, life, health, and commercial insurance. Owner Clark Moore is a local guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs and wants to be your go-to guy for all your insurance needs. For a free quote, give him a call and see why so many Texans trust the Lake Insurance Agency. Located at 805 Southeast Stalling Suite 3, Nacogdoches, Texas, or call 936-205-4467. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
You're watching Tackle Talk Live. We appreciate each and every one of y'all tuning us in today. This segment presented by Pride Rods, Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, and the Lakes Insurance of Nacogdoches, Texas. Two locations, Nacogdoches and Broadus, Texas, right there on the banks and shores of Sam Rayburn. Check them out. We appreciate you guys. And so real quick, Kevin, ABA Race Scott National Championship. We had 133 qualify for this particular event. Well, more than that, probably 200 qualified. 133 showed up. Gas prices kept people away, which this is a result of what we're starting to see over time. You know, circuits aren't filling up like they used to because of high gas prices. We knew it would sideline some guys, and it's starting to show up. Overall, tough fishing. Of course, in any event, especially this big, some guys are going to show out. They had a deep water pattern going on. A lot of brush top fish were caught. Roger Beaver Jr. from Dawson, Georgia, was the winner of this event. And let's see, I think he won $50,000 plus a brand new, or no, I think it was $100,000 plus a brand new Camus bass boat. So congratulations. He had 76.32. He had a big fish of 578. Shane Powell from Dothan, Alabama, was second with 61.94. So a big drop, 15 pounds between first and second. Roger Beaver he had a big sack on the final day. Day 4, he had the biggest sack of the tournament, 21.72 on the final day. And then Ryan Ingram was third from Phoenix City, Alabama. The locals really had a deep water pattern going on here. And again, congratulations to all those guys. Guys from our region, the highest finisher was James Larimore. James finished 21st overall.
What Cody Pitt finish?
Cody Pitt, let's see. Cody was, let's see here. He was down here. Yeah, there he is. Well, did you see him?
36, I think.
Oh, yeah, 36. From Elmer, Louisiana, he had 1765, finished 36. Pineland, Texas, Hunter Moncrief from this region, what would be our South Texas division or East Texas division, either one. Plattsville, Texas, James Kaiser was 45th. And it just was a tough tournament overall. There was a shad spawn going on, Kevin, and like we talked about a little bit already, but it was in certain places. And when you found the shad spawn, Even with live scope, there was nothing with it. I mean, it was just shad. That's it. And there was no bass up there feeding on them. It was really strange event. And things just didn't work out, especially if you were a shallow water guy. You really struggled here. But anyway, a lot of guys zeroed. I was middle of the pack. I finished 66th, 67th. Just had fish every day, just no size. It just got to be a test of your perseverance. I mean, you had to just really get out there and just stay with it. I hunt and pecked and fished. I went deep. I went shallow. I did everything in between. I did everything I could think of, and nothing was working with any consistency. It was hard to pattern.
Right.
Didn't really get. And we had a 3-inch rain and a tornado come through between the lake and the town of Eufaula. That was really bad. And the lake rose 2.5 feet in 24 hours.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
That really messed up a lot of the fish in the creeks. The water came up real fast, but the fish didn't follow it. They were probably 3 or 4 days behind. If we could have been there Saturday or Sunday. Matter of fact, some guys that fished on the final day caught a lot of spinnerbait fish on the final. They said they finally pulled up with it. So,
yeah.
But congratulations, ABA. Chris Wayne was the national tournament director for this event, as he has been the last couple of years. Chris does a great job, and we're lucky to have him as our director in our region. And but anyway, that wraps that up. Toyota Series, Kevin, was on Texoma. Wind, as we've
They got to fish one day.
They ended up being a one-day deal instead of 3. And let's see here. Texoma, Rick Harris of Del Rio, Texas, won it with 5 fish for $21.13, $41,500 win. Jeff Reynolds, no stranger to Texoma, finished second with $18.13. Even Barnes of Hot Springs, Arkansas, was third. Todd Castledine was fourth with $18.2. Looking down the list here, anybody else we know? Montgomery, Texas, Chris Wilson was seventh with $16.8. Brett Stafford, Temple, Texas, was ninth. Jason Bonds was ninth, also tied for ninth at Lufkin. Out of Lufkin, he had $15.13. And Tommy Martin of Hemp Hill, Texas, was 10th with $15.2. So short-lived event over at Texoma. I'm sure
but they had no choice. I
Yeah.
mean, they had no choice but to fish that one day. There was no way possible. And Texoma can get rough. There's no way they could have got out on the water those other 2 days.
Our
There's
solo
absolutely no
150, one of our days was canceled.
Yeah.
One of the two, the first day was canceled, and we ended up basically in a one-day deal. And it was Texoma in the wind does not go good. Kevin, upcoming events we got.
Well, before we jump into that, I want to talk a little bit about the V&M Baits tournament. May 7th this year. Yes, every year we usually have it in September. This year, May 7th, Humphrey Pavilion at Sam Rayburn. Outlaw Outdoors will be putting it on like they always have before. You can get on their website and get registered. Again, it is V&M Baits only. I've got a lot of questions kind of about that. Terminal tackle does not matter. Shaky heads, anything. Terminal tackle with a hook.
Tokyo rigs.
Any of that does not matter. It has to have a V&M soft plastic on it.
Right.
An A-rig is fine. It has to have a V&M swim bait on it. All jigs have to be V&M jigs. V&M jigs with a V&M Baits trailer.
Now, let's explain that, the A-rig. Does all the baits have to be, or just one of those
No,
baits?
all the baits.
All the baits on your A-rig.
All of these soft plastic baits have to be V&M.
If it's soft plastic and hits the water, it better be V&M.
It has to be V&M, correct.
Okay.
Terminal tackle does not matter. Jigs have to be V&M. Any trailers that go on the jigs have to be V&M. Terminal tackle, A-rig, stuff like that. Hooks, weights, does not matter.
Okay, there you go.
So
you got it from the man. You heard him. All right, upcoming events, Kevin.
We got a busy month coming up, Steve.
Yeah, we really do.
It's starting. It kind of slowed down, especially on Sam Rayburn over there with a lot of high school tournaments, stuff like that. We got a lot of big tournaments coming up. ABA Open Series this weekend, April 16, out of Castle Boykins, correct?
Yep, Castle Boykin. All ABA events for 2022 are out of Castle Boykin.
Then the Outlaw Outdoor Team Series number 4 event, April 16th as well, out of Humphrey Pavilion. Steve, then next weekend is the big one. Big Bass Splash, Sam Rayburn, April 22nd through the 24th.
Yep.
Right there out of Humphrey Pavilion. Then May 4th through the 6th is the Toyota event out of Humphrey. That is Thursday. That is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because the V&M Baits tournament is Saturday, May 7th. So a lot of things coming up going on over there at Sam Rayburn. Toledo Bend's not as many big tournaments coming to Toledo Bend. The top 6 is the weekend of May 6th and 7th on Toledo Bend. So a lot going on there. But yeah, Rayburn's fixing to be jam-packed again with some big tournaments coming up.
And also one that you left off, ABA Solo 150.
Yes.
Will be April 22nd and 23rd on Eufaula, Oklahoma. And then there's only one more left, and that'll be on Sam Rayburn later on. We'll give you the dates on that later on.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
get registered, Bass Cash Bash.
Yes. Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
There's a bunch of that guys this year, too, more than I've ever seen, probably. And so register, guys. It doesn't cost you but $50. I think $100 if you want to do all the lakes. If you go that far off and fish all these bodies of water, it's the cheapest entry fee you'll ever have for a tournament, and the chance to win is really good. So check it out. Don't be that guy. Bash Cash Bash. That's it, Kevin.
That's it for today.
Right.
We got to get James on the road. He's got to go.
Yep, James got to leave. Please check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, podcast. If you'd like to become a member of our sponsorship team, please message us on Facebook. Kevin will get a packet right out there to you as soon as possible. For Kevin Jean, our producer, James Stanfield, yours truly, Steve Graff. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week right here with more Tackle Talk Live.